Have you ever looked back at your life and realized that some of the things holding you back were never your enemies but your own habits? Not the obvious habits, not the ones everyone talks about, the hidden ones, the quiet patterns that slowly steal your peace. Your confidence, your time, and your future. Most people think they have plenty of time to change, plenty of time to become stronger, plenty of time to start living differently. But time moves in silence. And while you delay, life keeps moving forward. The Stoics understood something that many people ignore. A person is not destroyed in a single moment. They are weakened little by little, through repeated actions that seem harmless at first. Today, we are going to explore 8 things you need to stop. Before it is too late, these are habits, mindsets, and behaviors that silently keep people trapped. If you recognize even one of these in your own life, you have an opportunity to change your direction before years slip away. The first thing you need to stop is waiting for the perfect moment. Many people spend their entire lives preparing to live. They tell themselves they will start when they feel ready. They will pursue their dreams when conditions improve. They will become disciplined. Next month, they will take action after one more opportunity appears. But the perfect moment never arrives. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly that life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when everything becomes easy. The person who waits for perfect conditions remains stuck, while others move forward with imperfect circumstances. Think about how many opportunities disappear because people hesitate. Think about how many goals remain unfinished because someone keeps waiting for confidence before taking action. Confidence rarely comes before action. Confidence comes from action. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to begin. Fear grows larger, doubt grows stronger. Excuses become more convincing. Start before you feel ready. The second thing you need to stop is seeking approval from everyone. This habit destroys more dreams than failure ever could. Many people live as prisoners of other people's opinions. They choose careers based on expectations. They hide their true personalities. They remain silent when they should speak. They abandon goals because someone laughed at them. The Stoics taught that your worth does not come from public approval. People will judge you no matter what you do. If you succeed, some will envy you. If you fail, some will criticize you. If you stay quiet, they will misunderstand you. If you speak honestly, they may disagree. You cannot control how people see you. You can only control your character. The moment you stop living for applause, you become free. Freedom begins when your actions are guided by principles rather than opinions. The third thing you need to stop is comparing your life to others. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy peace. You see someone else's success and feel behind. You see someone else's happiness and feel incomplete. You see someone else's achievements and begin questioning your own journey. But comparison is unfair because you are comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to someone else's highlight reel. Every person is fighting battles you cannot see. Every person carries fears, regrets, disappointments, and challenges. The Stoics believe that your focus should remain on your own path. Not your neighbor's path, not your friend's path, not a stranger's path, your path. The only comparison that matters is who you were yesterday versus who you are today. Real growth begins when you stop measuring your life against others and start measuring it against your own potential. The fourth thing you need to stop is avoiding discomfort. Modern life teaches people to chase comfort at all costs. Comfortable routines, comfortable conversations, comfortable choices, comfortable excuses. But comfort often becomes a cage. Everything valuable requires some level of discomfort. Strength requires effort. Wisdom requires mistakes. Discipline requires sacrifice. Growth requires uncertainty. The Stoics deliberately practiced discomfort because they knew hardship builds resilience. When you avoid every challenge, you also avoid every opportunity to become stronger. The person who constantly seeks comfort becomes fragile. The person who learns to face discomfort becomes powerful. Life will bring difficulties, whether you welcome them or not. It is better to train yourself willingly than to be surprised by adversity later. The fifth thing you need to stop is carrying old resentment. Many people spend years replaying old wounds. They remember insults, they remember betrayals, they remember unfair treatment, they remember moments when someone hurt them. And without realizing it, they continue carrying those experiences. Long after the event has ended, the person who harmed them may have moved on years ago, yet the anger remains alive inside their own mind. The Stoics understood that resentment punishes the person holding it more than the person who caused it. Every moment spent reliving old pain is a moment stolen from the present. Forgiveness does not mean approving bad behavior. It means refusing to allow past events to control your future. Peace becomes possible when you stop feeding old anger. The sixth thing you need to stop is neglecting your time. Time is the one resource that never returns. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can sometimes reappear. Mistakes can often be corrected. But time never comes back every day. People waste hours on distractions that add nothing to their lives. Hours become days, days become years. Then one day they wonder where their life went. Seneca wrote that people protect their property more carefully than they protect their time. Think about that. People become upset when they lose a small amount of money, yet they casually waste entire afternoons. The Stoic mindset encourages awareness. Ask yourself regularly where your time is going. Ask yourself whether your daily actions reflect your priorities. A meaningful life is built one day at a time. Protect your time because your life is made of it. The seventh thing you need to stop is doubting your own ability to change. One of the most dangerous lies people tell themselves is this: this is just who I am. They believe they are permanently limited by their past. They believe they cannot become disciplined because they were always lazy. They believe they cannot become confident because they were always insecure. They believe they cannot improve because they have failed too many times. The Stoics rejected this thinking. Human beings are capable of transformation. Character is shaped through repeated choices. Every day presents an opportunity to become slightly better than before. The person you were today is not the person you must remain tomorrow. Growth may be slow, progress may be difficult, but change is possible. The moment you stop believing that change is possible is the moment growth stops completely. The eighth and final thing you need to stop is living as if life will last forever. Most people act as though they have unlimited tomorrows. They postpone important conversations. They delay meaningful goals. They ignore relationships that matter. They waste years assuming there will always be more time. The Stoics practiced remembering mortality, not because they were pessimistic, but because they understood reality. Life is precious precisely because it is limited. When you remember that your time is finite, your priorities become clearer. Petty arguments lose importance. Unnecessary drama loses importance. Meaningless distractions lose importance. What remains is what truly matters. The people you love, the work that gives your life purpose. The values you choose to live by. The moments that make life meaningful. One day every person will reach a point where they can no longer ask for more time. The question is whether they will look back with regret or with gratitude. The Stoics believe that wisdom comes from recognizing this truth early, rather than late. If you stop waiting for perfect conditions, stop chasing approval, stop comparing yourself to others, stop avoiding discomfort, stop carrying resentment, stop wasting time, stop doubting your ability to change, stop living as though life is endless. Your life can begin to move in a completely different direction. Not overnight, not instantly, but steadily. Because greatness is rarely built through dramatic moments. It is built through daily choices, small choices repeated consistently. The choice to act, the choice to grow, the choice to remain disciplined, the choice to focus on what you can control, and the choice to make today count before it becomes another day that can never be recovered. The clock is already moving, life is already happening. The future is being shaped by what you do right now. The question is simple. What will you stop before it is too late? Most people believe that their biggest obstacles are outside of them. They blame difficult circumstances. They blame unfair people. They blame bad luck. They blame the economy, their past, or their environment. And while some of these things are real challenges, the Stoics understood a deeper truth. The greatest battles are often fought within. A person can have talent and still fail because they lack discipline. A person can have opportunities and still waste them because they lack focus. A person can have intelligence and still remain unhappy because they cannot control their emotions. This is why Stoicism focuses so heavily on self-mastery. Because once you learn to govern yourself, the outside world loses much of its power over you. One habit that quietly destroys people's lives is the constant need to react. Someone says something offensive and they react. Someone criticizes them and they react. Something goes wrong and they react. Every emotional trigger becomes a command. Every inconvenience becomes a crisis. Every disagreement becomes a battle. The Stoics taught that between an event and your response, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom. The stronger your ability to pause, the stronger your life becomes. A person who controls their reactions cannot easily be manipulated. A person who remains calm under pressure gains an advantage that few people possess. the world becomes less chaotic. When you stop allowing every situation to control your emotions, another thing that must be stopped before it is too late is making excuses. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect the ego. They allow people to avoid responsibility. Instead of admitting mistakes, they create explanations. Instead of improving, they justify. Instead of acting, they complain. The problem with excuses is not that they fool other people. The problem is that they fool the person making them. Growth begins the moment responsibility begins. The day you stop blaming circumstances for everything is the day your power returns. Because responsibility and power always travel together. When you take responsibility, you regain control over your future. You stop waiting for someone else to fix your life. You stop expecting perfect conditions. You stop depending on luck. You become the author of your own story. There is another silent habit that slowly destroys potential. It is the habit of overthinking. Many people spend more time thinking about action than actually taking action. They analyze every possibility. They imagine every risk. They create endless scenarios. They search for certainty, but certainty rarely exists. Life requires movement the longer you stay trapped in endless analysis. The more opportunities disappear. The Stoics believe that action creates clarity, not the other way around. You do not think your way into confidence. You act your way into confidence. You do not think your way into courage. You act despite fear. Waiting for every answer before moving forward often leads nowhere. Sometimes the next step is revealed only after taking the first one. Another thing that must end before it is too late is the habit of living in the past. Many people remain emotionally attached to versions of themselves that no longer exist. Some remain trapped by past failures. Others remain trapped by past successes. Both can become prisons. The person haunted by failure refuses to move forward. The person obsessed with former success refuses to adapt. Life does not exist in yesterday. Life exists now. The present moment is the only place where action is possible. The only place where growth is possible. The only place where change is possible. The Stoics constantly returned their attention to the present because they knew that dwelling excessively on the past steals energy from the future. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can influence today, and today eventually becomes tomorrow. One of the most painful regrets people experience later in life comes from neglected relationships. People assume they will always have another chance. Another chance to call, another chance to visit, another chance to say thank you, another chance to express love. But life does not always provide another opportunity. Time quietly moves forward. People change, circumstances change. Sometimes people disappear from our lives forever. The Stoics encouraged appreciation because they understood that nothing is guaranteed. Every conversation could be the last. Every meeting could be the last. Every moment is temporary. This awareness does not create fear. It creates gratitude. It reminds us to value people while they are still here, not after they are gone. Another dangerous habit is sacrificing long-term peace for short-term pleasure. This trap has existed throughout history. People choose temporary comfort over lasting fulfillment. They choose distraction over discipline, entertainment over growth, pleasure over purpose. At first, these choices seem harmless, but repeated daily, they create entirely different futures. The Stoics were not against enjoyment, they were against slavery. To desire anything that controls your behavior controls part of your life. Real freedom comes from being able to choose wisely, even when temptation is present. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It is the ability to protect your future from the impulses of the present. The strongest people are not necessarily the smartest. They are often the most consistent. They continue when motivation disappears. They continue when progress feels slow. They continue when results are invisible. Most people underestimate the power of consistency. A small improvement repeated every day becomes extraordinary over time. A small mistake repeated every day becomes destructive over time. Your future is often determined by what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally do. That is why daily habits matter so much. They shape your character. They shape your results, and eventually they shape your destiny. As you listen to these words, consider your own life honestly, not with judgment, not with guilt, but with awareness. Which habits are helping you grow? Which habits are holding you back? Which fears are keeping you trapped? Which excuses are preventing progress? Which distractions are stealing your time? The Stoics believe that self-awareness is the beginning of wisdom. You cannot change what you refuse to see, but once you see clearly, transformation becomes possible. Every day offers a new opportunity, a new decision, a new beginning. You do not need to change your entire life. Today you only need to make one better choice, then another, then another. Over time, those choices create a new person, a stronger person, a calmer person, a wiser person. The future is not something that suddenly arrives. It is something you build through daily actions. And the choices you make today will echo through the years ahead. So choose carefully. Choose deliberately. Choose what strengthens you rather than what weakens you. Choose what builds character rather than comfort. Choose what creates peace rather than chaos. And most importantly, choose now, because one day the opportunity to change will no longer exist. And when that day comes, the habits you stop today may be the very reason you look back on your life with pride instead of regret.